The bathroom is the holder of all your secrets. The bathroom is the place where you have to encounter an unfiltered version of you. There are no filters in front of the mirror. So when you take off your makeup, which is kind of a filter, you have to look at yourself. So, welcome to Bathroom Diaries. Bathroom Diaries Part 3. So today is episode number 3 of Bathroom Diaries with Dr. Din. I am your host, Dr. Sofia Din. I'm going to be answering certain questions that women and men encounter when they visit the bathroom. The bathroom is the holder of all your secrets. The bathroom is the place where you have to encounter an unfiltered version of you. There are no filters in front of the mirror. So when you take off your makeup, which is kind of a filter, you have to look at yourself. So before the advent of mirrors, humans did not have this problem. But after the advent of mirrors, this problem, the problem of existing and perception of self, and perception and facing your demons, facing your inner critic, is something that happens in the bathroom. So those are my bathroom diaries. Is basically I rebranded my podcast, which was Anti-Aging with Dr. Giovanni, to Bathroom Diaries with Dr. Din. So Bathroom Diaries with Dr. Din basically is going to attempt to answer some of your questions, some of your concerns when you are facing your inner demons or inner angels. Listen, some of us are angels. Most of us are demons. But anyway, so what we will do today, I'm just answering the questions because we have like a whole list of questions that my existing clients have already asked. So those are the questions that I will try to answer today. And yes, it can be anything. So you can ask me anything about Bathroom Diaries. What made me give it the Bathroom Diaries name is because bathroom is a place where you have to be real with yourself. You have to be authentic with yourself. So if you have image problems or body dysmorphia or gut problems, or just some system of yours is breaking apart and you have to put it together, or if you are in perfect state of mind and body health, whatever is your place in this very personal space, it's a very personal space. So I am basically discussing the issues that can occur routinely. People ask me those questions all the time. That's the reason that we do what we do. So that's the reason that I called it Bathroom Diaries. That Bathroom Diaries are your authentic messages from and to yourself, which you have to either accept and absorb, or you have to reject and cleanse. So it's a place of cleansing. It's where you clean not just your perception of self issues, not just how your brain perceives you as you, but it also, like, if sometimes we project what somebody else is perceiving us like. So that is something, if somebody says, oh, you have like this somewhere, that thing will start becoming apparent. Your brain is a thought processing center. Your brain is a thought processing center. So what thought seeps inside your system can impact your reality. Okay, now I'm gonna start looking at some of the questions. What questions do we have today? Will you attend a Halloween party? That is a very important question. I'm not sure. I do have a party. My neighbor is throwing a very big party. So maybe I'll just crash her party. I'm gonna be a Botox doctor. At her party, I'll just take my needles. Let me show you my needles. I have it right here. I can find one needle right here. What's one thing you do in your bathroom that you swear keeps you young? So one thing that I definitely like to do for myself is I cleanse. I also like I do my I love doing makeup. I love makeup. So one of my favorite things to do is to do makeup because I consider makeup as war paint. And I think women need to learn their faces and they need to know how to do their makeup right. And actually, there has been research that women who put makeup on and those who don't put makeup on, women who put makeup on make more money in life than the ones who don't. So, learn to do makeup. However, learning to take care of skin is something that keeps me young. Even though I love makeup, makeup is basically there to hide some of your imperfections or create like a glow where none exists or something. But what I actually like to do in the bathroom is like not only when I remove my makeup at night, I make sure no matter how tired I am, I remove my makeup before I go to sleep. And not only I remove my makeup, I make sure that I put some CE Ferulic, which is a very, very important serum that I recommend to everyone to put on their skin. It's a topical food for your skin's biome. So your skin at a very cellular level has living organisms that it's alive. So what it needs topically to stay young is like this topical serum. So it is topical. It's a very important routine for skincare, especially for anti-aging purposes. So that is something that I like to do. So I put like this vitamin CE Ferulic acid serum, which is by SkinCeuticals, which I totally love. And then the second thing I do, and I let it sit and be completely absorbed, which takes like a minute or two. And then I place a little moisturizer to also moisturize the areas of my face where I feel the skin got dry through the day, because every season is different, but these are like must do everyday routine. So that moisturizer that I use is like something like Neocutis, which is a very good quality moisturizer which has certain molecules that can actually very easily penetrate through and get absorbed through the skin. So it just keeps your body like really facial skin very hydrated. And then in the end, I put some healing ointment around my mouth, around this area, because this is an area which is moving all the time throughout the day. So at night, I like to extra moisturize it here. I extra moisturize under eyes. I extra moisturize with that healing ointment, which is, I think, by CeraVe. So I think that one thing that I do every single day without fail has helped me tremendously. Like to the point where I take my vitamin CE Ferulic supply for the whole, I purchase it for the whole year. I don't even want to like take a single day off from there. So that is one thing that, women who truly are beautiful and care for their beauty and they want to preserve that skin for a period of time, they must do. So that is one thing that I recommend. And sometimes people ask me, why vitamin C? Vitamin C is very important. It is an antioxidant. So it basically is a shield that will protect your skin from degradation. So it actively protects your skin from not only infections, not only like little bacteria and little critters that may come in contact with your skin. So it just removes, it's like placing a shield. So everything just flies out. So not only I put it at night, but also before I place my makeup on my face, because makeup is dirty. Remember, you're putting dirt on your face, colored dirt. You're like painting your face. So makeup is dirty. So before I place any molecule of makeup on my face, I make sure that I place that shield again in the morning. So that's going to add years to your life, years to the health of your skin. So one thing that if there is one moisturizer or serum that I would want women to invest in is to have a really good quality vitamin C serum. However, the one I love is the one from SkinCeuticals. Listen, I love expensive things. It is super expensive. It's like, you can find it for $187, and it would be like you'll find a fake on Amazon for $187. So because it's not allowed to be sold on Amazon apparently. So most of the shit that you find it on Amazon will probably be fake or some kind of a copy. However, the only way you can even get this holy grail of topical antioxidant serum in the only way for you to get it is like if you went to like a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon or somebody, and they're the ones who would get it from the company and give it to you. So it's like that kind of it's like a skincare thing. And I call it the holy grail of beauty. That's one of the things that will win, because remember, you may go to your dentist for your dental care maybe twice a year to get it cleaned and polished and whitened or lightened, whatever. But you have to brush your teeth twice or thrice every day anyway. You still have to floss. You still have to buy a nice organic or something toothpaste so that you can cleanse it. So similarly, skincare, especially rejuvenating skincare or anti-aging skincare, is also very important for the future health of your skin. And basically, if you came to me and I did your Botox shots, for instance, for those of you who may not know what Botox is, I'll explain it in a minute. But let's say if I did your Botox shots and now you look great, just to preserve the result of that Botox, you still have to eat well, sleep well, not drink alcohol, hydrate, and plus do some topical skincare that's good also. However, I tell people that what is the cheapest way to anti-age and stay young is to do Botox. If you have only $300 in that month, or $200 or $300 in a quarter, not like a month, but like let's say in one quarter, which is like 4 months, and your budget is like $300, I'd say put the Botox. And then you can use, if you can't afford a fancy vitamin C serum like I do, go find something that is very reasonable, because there are a lot of vitamin C serums in the market. And if you guys want, I can go and make a list of all the vitamin C serums that are in the market that you can use. Are they going to be as amazing as the CE Ferulic that I'm using? No, they won't. I have used everyone. I have even used the one that actually, if you're on TikTok and you may see this yellow colored bottle which has like a timeless vitamin C written on it. I actually purchased it just to see how nice it is, and I ended up giving it to my fiance. I was like, please, this is terrible. You use it because I just want the vitamin. And he was like, no. He was like, okay, I'm gonna use it, but I want the CE Ferulic too, because once you use the real deal, then you won't like the cheaper ones. So does that keep me young? It keeps me stable. It keeps young skin young. But it won't stop the aging of your skin, because it's a very topical thing. So it's not the aging of your skin. To stop that, you have to use medical grade skincare, which are shots. These are little tiny shots. If you look, like, can you see the needle? Okay. So this tiny shot, this shot is something that you will need for medical grade skincare, because that's what you will need to reverse aging of your skin. So the aging of the skin has to be reversed with medical grade skincare. Just topical skincare is not gonna do anything. Topical skincare will help you in preserving the results of good skincare. But aging will not. Yes, it's a very tiny, wow, so small, she's saying. So, yes, it's a very tiny needle. And we still numb you. There are certain doctors who are not very empathic and don't care if they inflict pain and suffering upon you. So those guys, they're not gonna spend extra money to go obtain a very good quality numbing cream and place it upon you. So I also at my office routinely numb the skin for 5-10 minutes and then inject. So numbing the skin topically really helps. Actually, I am a believer in the fact that we should numb even when we give shots, even the vaccinations, we should also numb. But listen, this is a shot that turns time. So this is basically a needle. Be filled with medication. So you can fill it with any medication. I like to fill these with anti-aging medications as we place them under your skin to turn time. So Botox is one kind of an anti-aging medication, which is very, very important for the longevity of your skin. Your skin is one of the largest organs that you will ever own. It is not only one of the largest organs that you will own, it is very, very expensive to maintain over a period of time, especially after the pauses in your life. So if you're a female and you go through perimenopause and menopause, you will see a very quick deceleration in the health of your skin. So you will see that the health and pizzazz and the glow and the content of your skin is completely broken. The matrix of your skins, especially the visible part of your public facing face, is going to start showing signs of disintegration. So that is usually a time when women become aware of it. And how do you become aware of it? When you remove your makeup at night and look at yourself. So that's where you will see that some creases that used to be present on your face, which used to go away with a good night's sleep or a good facial or some relaxation and rest, are now becoming permanent creases. So when you see those lines getting etched into the matrix of your skin that you can see yourself with through, like when you look at yourself, you look at your own features. So your face, your public facing face holds features that identify you as you. So skin, when this particular face ages, as you go through time and gravity and hormonal imbalance, you will see that that's how your brain realizes where you are in time. The reason that you exist is because you exist for your brain. And your brain cells and your skin cells are very closely associated with each other. And the reason they're closely associated and the way they can perceive each other, where you are in time, is because when you were very tiny, the brain cells and your skin cells arise from the same matrix of the embryonic cells that you originally were born from. So the outermost layer of the embryo, when you were like a little tiny little embryo, the outermost layer of that embryo, half of it divides and turns into your brain and the other half turns into skin. So these tiny little cells, your skin cells and your brain cells, they are quantum entangled at your birth. So they can tell. That's how you can tell you as you, and that's how as you age through time, as you go through time, the disintegration, your brain will know where you are in time. So the hardest person to fool is your own self. You can fool everyone else with makeup, with filters, with whatever else you want to fool. But the person that you cannot fool is your own self. And that is where one of my conversations on Bathroom Diaries about perception of self and acceptance of self and alignment with your own self and acceptance of whatever you have. And not just in your physical, where you pay the most attention, but wherever there is any ailments, issues. If you have ailments and issues, how to remove them. If you have perception and alignment issues, how to remove them. What is body dysmorphia? So body dysmorphia is a condition where your brain fails to see the beauty in your own self, and it cannot see the beauty or perfection in itself. And when anybody else sees that person, they're like, wow, this is such a great, beautiful person, how nice they're looking. However, when they look at themselves, their brain fails to see it. So it's a failure at a very deeper level of perception, where you cannot find yourself beautiful because something happened earlier on in your life when when your ego was not fully formed and you couldn't protect yourself. At that point, something may have happened where somebody either said something to you, or somebody who was close to you who said to you that you're not worthy, or you're not beautiful, or whatever it was. It put some kind of a crack into your perception of self. So those people, as they get older, they try to fix that perfection, because all their life they fail to see it, even though as you grow, because the peak versions of self happen much later in life. So while you're growing, you're going through a growth spurt or something, or childbirth or whatever else, weight gain, weight loss, whatever. So your peak version of self occurs later in life. So when your peak versions of self are occurring, your brain is still existing in the past, where somebody had criticized it, and that inner critic became your inner voice. And so I feel that body dysmorphia should not be handled in the realm of injectables. You cannot fix body dysmorphia with a shot. Body dysmorphia is a perception problem. So again, if somebody is like, looking great and they're like, oh, I'm not good, I'm like, first of all, that's a red flag. Because what do you mean you're not good? Because if you exist at baseline, God wanted you to be here, and you are beautiful. You are whole. You're perfect. If you're a normal human, that's my assessment. So I basically tell ladies and men who have body dysmorphia or issues, because sometimes, however, like if you are 300 pounds and you have like, oh my God, my body, I've eaten so much because something was wrong with my brain. I couldn't stop eating, and now I've like tripled in weight. So and there's something wrong with my body. I don't like my body. Yeah, there is a specific cause to it, that yes, you have gained 100 pounds more than what your body can hold. So that's a different thing. So if you have like, oh my God, I've just put on 100 pounds, so how can I remove them? That's not body dysmorphia. So body dysmorphia is when you're like, look, you're fine. You're absolutely fine, but you cannot accept the fact that you're absolutely fine and beautiful as you exist. However, sometimes people do not have body dysmorphia. They have actually problems with their body. They've either gained too much weight, or they've just become old, or if they have like issues with their gut, or if they are going through menopause and their body, many of their organs are falling apart. So the aging becomes very difficult for people with body dysmorphia, but aging is difficult for everyone. Even when you're completely normal, aging is going to break you in many ways, and you have to preserve yourself. Health and wellness and longevity of your system is a very important goal that I believe that everybody should have this, that how to maintain your system in its complete health and wellness throughout time. And then we come to the next layer of wellness, which is beauty. So beauty, my majority of my work is basically with beauty and menopause. So beauty is what is the tip of the iceberg. That's what I tell people. So when you find somebody, a supermodel, just know that what you are seeing, that perfect face, that perfect figure, that stiletto heels on which they are running from on one runway and a different runway the next day, that is just what you're seeing is like just a tip of that iceberg. Beneath that iceberg is a a very big hidden portion of how much work they have done to maintain their health. Because the first thing that leaves your system, the first thing is beauty when you lose your health. So when you lose your health, if you become sick, or when you become sick, the first property that leaves your body is beauty. Before I became a beauty and menopause doctor, I used to work in the hospital, and I also used to be a geriatrician. So I'm a retired geriatrician. I used to take care of old people when they are in their nursing facilities and assisted care centers. And I can tell you with complete certainty that there's hardly anybody who's, physically still in connection with a beautiful version of self that they knew. Because once you start developing different illnesses, whether they are age related or some other condition related, the first thing that leaves your system is the properties that you considered beautiful. So I say that beauty is a fickle mistress, and it is something that you have to constantly work, but it's completely worthy of pursuing. To pursue beautiful versions of yourself, to stay connected with them. And I would how would I define a beautiful version of self? Where you feel the best, where your mind and body complex is in complete alignment, where you are eating well, creating what you need to create in your life, where you are sleeping well, where you're hydrating, where you are moving your body in a healthy way. And whatever you need to achieve, you're able to get. You're in the flow of life, you're in the flow of things. So that is where I say that that is a beautiful version of self, where you're healthy and you like it and you love it, and this is where you need to stay. And that's where the work begins of staying connected with the healthy version of self, and not just wait. Because I see that sometimes modern medicine, what we have become is just a sickness management system. So you do not need to see a doctor if you're not sick. So when you go for that one yearly visit, you basically show them the blood work, and they may do a mammogram or something, and then they're oh, nothing is wrong, so goodbye, I'll see you when something breaks down. And I think that that's not the way to do health. That is okay to do sickness management. So basically, yeah, we're just checking to see that you're not sitting on some kind of sickness. But health has to be pursued daily and with a lot of intention. So your daily routines become your habits, and your habits become your destiny. So your short-term habits become your long-term habits, and then because of your positive things that you are continuously doing for yourself become your destiny. And that's how your destiny unfolds. So before your body's different systems start breaking down, there is a lot of trouble that's going around in your body before it manifests itself as a disaster. Is living longer really the goal, or is it about living better? So yes, so modern medicine has, by managing your sicknesses, we are basically prolonging your existence. So when you develop a bacterial infection, or if you develop some kind of cancer, or if you develop heart disease or diabetes or something, we're going to keep throwing pills at you or some medications at you so that you don't die from that medication. However, there is not really health and rejuvenation or wellness in that preservation of life. So we do help you in getting over a disease, an acute sickness. Because of modern medicine, that is now very possible. However, health is something else. Health is the pursuit of health, to me, means that you are not allowing your different systems from disintegrating. And there are a couple of times in your life where you can come very close to very quick disintegration of, how the cookie crumbles. So the cookie crumbles in many, many different kinds of ways. Some people get heart failure, some people get vascular failure, some people get cancer, some people get other immune issues, some people lose their brain and their central data processing center disintegrates and they have Alzheimer's and movement disorders and other stuff. Some people have pelvic issues from this and that. So there are 1,001 ways how the cookie can crumble, but there are certain things that we are now realizing that one of the times that body really is exposed to a lot of this diseases is the time when the body starts experiencing the pause. So for women, this is a menopause, and menopause is preceded by almost a decade long period where the body is just pausing, but it's brief pause. So it's like a perimenopausal period where you are not in menopause, complete menopause, so you still get your period, your menstruation is still happening. However, there are times when there is some hormonal dysregulation, and that just throws you off balance every now and then. So in a year, maybe women will have either an immune issues or bleeding issues or some other gastric issue or brain fog issues or loss issues or something. It can become apparent with certain skin conditions. That is an early symptom of perimenopause, is usually very easily visible on your face. And in some other systems also, so like some women develop metabolic sluggishness, so they develop high blood pressure or some cholesterol, dyslipidemia. They can also develop things like hair loss. They can also develop things like pre-diabetes, where their sugars are constantly high, and they may feel that metabolic sluggishness is making them gain some weight, which when you go to your regular medical healthcare professional or your doctor, they will not be able to pinpoint exactly what's going on. Meanwhile, that is just a syndrome of perimenopause. Now that we're seeing that it is like not just a single symptom of really something that's happening with your periods and your hormones, but it's like a constellation of symptoms leading from muscle aches and pains and muscle loss and bone loss, but a lot of it's an all system pause that is happening slowly but persistently through time and consistently through time. So you have to start treating the menopause during perimenopause. So that is one thing. The other thing is that I have also seen in medicine, which has spanned now over 25 years, is that when girls go through childbirth, and sometimes a couple of childbirths that you can have when you're young can make you go through a pause also. And that pause is just basically a pause from depletion and exhaustion of birthing and creating a new life form. So women sometimes, even when they are very young and not in the perimenopausal age, can sometimes experience the sluggishness that is happening to women mostly in their 40s and 50s, earlier in life, and they're even in their 30s, early 30s, and sometimes late 20s. Do you believe we age from outside in or inside out? So it's both. So aging is an all system. So the moment you are born, the moment you take your first breath on your own, that means that you've been born. When you take in that air and your lungs expand and and your whoever is the nurse or the doctor who smacks you in the butt to make you cry, and then everybody has a certain amount of breaths, a certain amount of DNA, and everything starts unraveling right at birth. So you first grow, you get a growth spurt, you start consuming stuff, and it just, you grow by the food we feed you. That's how you grow. That becomes a part of you, and your system starts growing. So, and a point comes when your system becomes completely fully formed and grown. At that point, you're at like peak system growth. And then, but your brain is not completely developed. So you would see sometimes kids who are 18 or 20, they are fully formed, they look like complete adults, but now we know that even as their body is completely grown, their brain, their prefrontal cortex, which is their decision making center, which is the area which discerns issues for the good from the bad and what's harmful and what's not, that center, your prefrontal cortex, is not fully formed until you're 25 or 26. And for some guys I meet, I'm like, they're 28, 29, and I'm like, dude, your prefrontal cortex is not fully formed. And if you have like certain issues with your brain, then maybe it remains underdeveloped throughout your life. So once your mind and body full connection is formed, by that time you're like a fruit, you're a perishable item. Your body is a perishable item. So aging starts happening to it. So aging to a point of full growth, and then you hold that bag together for a certain amount of time when you're still young and vigorous, and if you take care of it, you can make it last a little while longer. But at certain point, that you have naturally programmed pauses that will start impacting your life. So naturally programmed pauses happen in your 40s and 50s. Now those are naturally programmed, whether you're a boy or a girl, whether you're a man or a woman, or whoever you are in time. At certain point, your system is going to start pausing. These are tiny little pauses that eventually lead to a full pause. So a full pause is like an all system pause. That's where something or the other will disintegrate. So is aging happening outside and inside? Your skin represents every single organ that it holds for you. Your skin is the largest organ of your body that holds all the other organs inside it. So it hides all your internal engine from yourself. So the engine that it carries for you, it's very easily. So if you have certain things that are not working correctly inside, it will be apparent on your face. So if you, for instance, are abuse alcohol, for instance, you will eventually destroy your liver, and your liver is like a cleaning factory for your body. So if you have if your liver gets destroyed with something, it will not be able to cleanse your blood, and then the unclean blood pigment will get deposited in your skin, and people will be able to see that your skin is not only lusterless, but it is looking very, very yellow. So your skin can manifest sometimes just by looking at people. I can tell if they are not using medical grade skincare, like treatments for cosmetic and beauty. I can not only tell people's chronological age, but also I can tell what system might not be working inside their body. If you are somebody who's losing all your hair, I know like there is some hormonal dysregulation, and there is some internal elements that you're lacking. That's why you're going through. So your skin represents all the organs that it carries. And your hair, for instance, hair loss. So why I call hair a part of your skin is because it is. Your hair grows out of your skin, and it is basically just an extension of your skin. And your hair it grows from within. Hair loss. When hair loss happens in people, we start checking your blood. We start seeing things like, what is it that's making you shed all this hair? So, aging is from not just within, but also without. So because your skin is the barrier that separates you from the rest of the world, and the world will impact. So your environment will impact your skin. So how much sun exposure you have, how much, like what have you been eating, what have you been placing upon it. So it's all relevant. Your skin is you. What's your take on aging gracefully? Does it even exist? I tell people that aging gracefully is completely different than aging helplessly. Aging gracefully and aging helplessly are mutually exclusive. Aging gracefully does not mean that you don't look after yourself. Aging gracefully means that you will use all the elements that have been placed around you to help yourself and, you know, go into life but preserving as much of you as you can. Because that's the point. Because life is, as far as I'm concerned, life is beautiful. It's meant to exist for much longer than humans currently carry it. So, and I'm one of those people who are believers in the fact that at some point we will find out how to stop time for you, for your body, so that you can carry this consciousness much longer into your existence. So most of the stuff that you're going to do, so that's a very good question. What percentage of things should we do ourselves and what percentage is on via a medical provider? So for your skin failure, a medical provider is essentially essential. And how often do you need to see that person depends on how much deeper you are into time. So if you are much older, if you're in the 6th or 7th decade of life and you are post-menopausal or post-andropausal, if you're a man, you need to see a doctor maybe once a month, maybe one, like if you can, because remember, all of these things are currently out-of-pocket expenses, so it can carry a lot of expense for most people. So if you are somebody who can afford it, you should be seeing somebody who is a longevity doctor once a month, but every other day. So even if it is once a month, the 29 days you have to do things by yourself. So DIY, I actually wrote a very detailed article on this, which was like beyond DIY. So beyond do it yourself, what are the things that you should seek a doctor's assistance for? So medical grade skincare, you might need 3 or 4 times in a year. And if when you're younger, you might need to see somebody like maybe once a year. In your 20s, maybe like once every couple of years for skin stuff. However, if you have issues, because sometimes the health of your skin is dependent upon the environment that you're keeping it in, because skin is chemistry. So it is your skin will show the chemical reaction that's occurring inside your body, because you're nothing but a chemical reaction that's occurring under your skin. So it manifests everything. So a lot of things you have to do by yourself, like eat well, sleep well, eat real food, try to stay away from sugar, no alcohol intake. If you really love your skin, stop drinking alcohol. If you really love your skin, just that's one element that you need to remove, because now it is beyond a shadow of doubt. We know that this thing, alcohol, is not good for your skin. It's not good for your other internal organs also, but definitely it's terrible for your skin. So you have to find some other means of entertainment. So you have to find some other element that has to replace this one. So find something else. What else? Hydrate. Take some essential supplements, because for longevity you need supplements, but knowing your supplements will make a difference, because you can't just take every single supplement that somebody is mentioning. I don't want you to go and jump on and start taking, like I know people who are taking like 100 pills every day. So just know that if you're taking 100 pills, the water soluble elements that they contain may not make it to your skin and other organs. However, the preservatives that are added to the oral supplements are going to get stuck in and lodged into your liver, and they will create damage short term and long term. So supplements are essential. However, somebody, your doctor, should come and filter out the things that you don't need, because do not overload yourself with preservatives, because a lot of these things carry preservatives. So I am all for supplements, but I like my supplements preservative free. So the only things that I take orally are the ones that are fat soluble like vitamin D or vitamin A or vitamin K or some, brain health related mushrooms. Neuromodulators are not oral medications. Hyaluronic acid fillers are also medical grade skincare. These are injectables also. Again, these are fillers. So your skin is like a fabric. So sometimes certain areas of your visible face will lose the padding, the inner padding, and that inner padding will not get created by your own system once you are in menopause. So we have to then inject certain things. And listen, that is how you tell which people go to a good injector and which people don't go to somebody who's good, because it's very dose dependent, and it's also what kind of product you're using, because sometimes these things can cause issues in faces. So always know your supplements, know your anti-aging medications. Thank you. So again, GLP-1 agonists. What are GLP-1 agonists? These are sugar neutralizers that I also recommend for the health of your skin as well as your internal organs. This is basically a shield of sugar neutralizing that you place inside your system. So all the sugary stuff that you're eating, or even if you are like somebody who leads a stressful life will cause your body to release cortisol inside the system. So if you release cortisol inside your system, guess what the cortisol is doing? The cortisol is going to spike your sugar levels. Every time there is a cortisol release and you're like, because of an idea or something, you are stressed, your body is constantly releasing that cortisol. Why do we tell people that please stay away from negative people, stay away from people who hurt you? Because sometimes just the cortisol that you're releasing is by just coming in touch with those people is not good for you, because it's going to hurt you by raising your sugars and spiking your sugar. And sugar cooks your body from within, from not just all your organs but also your brain. So a lot of diseases of aging are sugar related, and I truly believe that for longevity of your system you should be on a GLP-1 agonist. It could be a microdose. I mean, you don't have to use it only when you become a diabetic, or if you become a diabetic, or if you become obese. But definitely if you become obese and have a metabolic sluggishness and you're a pre-diabetic or diabetic, definitely you should be on a GLP-1. But even before you get to that stage of existence, just for skin care, just for health of your skin and longevity of your skin, just put yourself on a tiny little GLP-1 agonist. And the one that I like the most is something called semaglutide, which is also available as Wegovy or Ozempic, and they're really good. Now, if your insurance does not cover that one, you can also try something like Mounjaro, which is a cheaper version of Wegovy, but it's a molecular difference. Mounjaro is a slightly bit bigger molecule, so it doesn't hit you as acutely and as directly as semaglutide or Wegovy might hit you. So tirzepatide is slightly bit different, and that is something that is also available. Usually men end up liking Mounjaro or Zepbound or tirzepatide. However, women end up liking more Wegovy and Ozempic. That's what I'm noticing, and I think that it is because of the skin element, because the skin gets better. But if somebody has a really bad addiction to food or addiction to anything, they should consider being on Wegovy or Ozempic or semaglutide. Immune modulation with biologics. So one of the things that happens when you are going through the pause, your immune system is also pausing. So what happens when your immune system is pausing? Your basically immune system, which is your defense system of the body, which is the police officers of your body and the army of your body, these cells have dysfunction. These cells cannot protect you the way they used to when you were younger. So, and sometimes these cells cannot tell the body's own aging cells from a stranger cell or an alien cell that came in. So one of the things that I also recommend, and it is being currently studied, is the immune modulation that some people need after their body has descended into its pauses. So if you have immune issues happening around that time, which sometimes, I hear women complain about fibromyalgia, different kind of arthritis, and sometimes cancer occurring in different parts of the body. So that immune modulation is basically that on your aging immune system, you put like night vision goggles so it can tell the self from a different cell, so it stops hurting your own body. So that's what immune modulation is, that we basically educate your immune system how to recognize the cells that belong to yourself from the cells that does not belong in the system, that are not good for the system. For instance, dysfunctioning cells. Your human body produces cancer cells every day. So I guess this podcast is over.